Welcome to O'Talkin' with Dave. Coming to you from his palatial fortress in Sin City, where what happens in Vegas is talked about everywhere. Put your hands together for the pastor of positivity whose glass is always at least half full. Here's Dave.
Hey, how we doing out there? I hope you are doing well. I am top shelf and ready to go. And it's really me. This is really me. Sometimes you can't tell. I don't know if anybody would take the time to convert anything I do to AI, but that's what we're talking about. I'm live and in the flesh. Who knows what people could clip and do with this? And that's a lot of people are paranoid about that. But we're going to talk about AI, artificial intelligence. Well, now some would argue any intelligence I have has to be artificial. That's just me. Not altogether inaccurate, though. But today I want to talk about it because I'm hearing it more and more in some interesting conversations. And you get a couple of conspiracy theorists together talking about AI. The world as we know it is about to end. Some people are just, I'm scared of it. I'm scared of it. It's going to take over. It's the beginning of the end. I even heard some good Baptists talk about it's a sign of the end of times. That's the way they talk in my mind, or at least the ones I know. Everything's a sign of the end of times. Anything they don't like or don't understand, it's in the Bible. It's a sign of the end of times. Don't mean to make fun of you, but that's, But there's so much. There's some of the same people who say they're scared or they don't trust AI or they don't, they're against it. Well, these are the same people using Siri, or they got those little modules in their house. Alexa, play this, or turn on the lights. All that's AI. The spell check. Now, I've got to the point. I've used AI so much, and, indirectly, I can't spell anymore. I am used to spell check. Spell check, autocorrect. Now, autocorrect gets me in trouble sometimes. A lot of times it says something I don't mean to say, and I have to go back. And then sometimes it corrects me incorrectly, and I let it go, and then I have to, I love to look at the autocorrect texts. The funny ones, like kids texting parents or parents texting kids, and it says this awful stuff. That's all AI. I mean, right now, I'm at the point in my life, and I never thought I'd be this way. I can't not, if I'm curious about something, I don't have the same either intellect or, mental work ethic to try to recall it. I just pull it up, man. I hit that Google machine or whatever and get that answer. Well, most of that is driven by AI. Anticipating what you're going to say. That's how they'll put 3 or 4 words out in front of you. That's all AI. All of the search engines now use AI either entirely or partially to give you that information that you're looking for. Do you have any streaming services? Netflix, YouTube, Spotify. Spotify gives me playlists all the time based on what I've listened to in the past and the algorithms. Back in my Pandora days, they say Spotify is for the kind of music you like or the bands and Pandora is more of the bands that you like that you don't even know yet, because it's like music. If you like this, you'll probably like that. And boom, that's AI. Amazon's killing me. I'll tell you that, because they know somehow what I'm going to order and when I'm going to order it and how many before I ever do. I throw them a curve every now and then. 4, I'm going to order 12. I'm going to order all my friends some too. I've done that before, and I'm not proud of it, but it's, that's when it comes up in my search history or my past orders. You ordered 8 of these mixers. Do you want to order those again? Or they'll throw them in my, it's just all AI. All AI. And it's not all commerce driven. most fraud protection now. And I know I complain too. It's annoying when I go out of town and I get a card gets declined because, well, this morning you were on the East Coast, now you're on the West Coast, and they'll decline my card. A lot of that's driven by AI. I mean, this past week, I was in NorCal, SoCal, Louisville, and Vegas, and all in 3.5 days. Well, I was getting, with my bank, my debit card, I was getting notifications. Was this you? All that's driven by AI. So there's some good things. It's annoying because, yeah, it was me. Stop declining my card. Yeah, I know I shouldn't be buying, Waffle House at 2:30 in the morning, especially when I got it 6 hours ago at another place. And but unfortunately, this is me. Whoever you are in the AI world, people do live this way. But if it wasn't me, it saves me a lot of headache. A lot of if you're online and it says, do you want to chat? Can I help you? What are you looking for? And if you answer that, you're talking to an AI bot. They are loaded with the answers to 90% of what you're going to ask. It's better than hiring somebody. It's better than having to wait on your part. Wait till someone is in the office. So they're convenient, and I think that's it. Convenience is what's driving AI. And then I know you're on social media. A lot of you are on my social media. Thank you so much for those of you who are being nice. And Randy, stop it. I heard you. I'm kidding. I give Randy a hard time. I like Randy. I'm going to meet Randy someday. Hopefully it's not in a dark alley because I think Randy could probably whoop my ass. But anyway, all of the Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all of those, they use AI to suggest feeds, to not coagulate, but to consolidate and coagulate. This is not AI. See, AI would never say something like that. But they're full of AI because it's fast. The amount of information it can collect and disseminate, it would take so much longer. And I may get into that a bit because that's gonna. That's the big factor with AI, how quickly and efficiently and effectively it can review and sort data. It's crazy. But then I know, especially you ladies, it's not really especially you ladies, but I'm going to say it, on all of these, selfies and the backgrounds and the filters and all that stuff, AI's driving it, man. Just the programming and the selection and the smartphone portrait modes, they use AI to some degree, some more than others, but I think it's going to be more. So I'm going to talk about why we need to embrace it, in my opinion. Then I'm going to talk about some careers that it's going to do away with, and then some that it will never touch. And then all in all, let's settle in and not be so worried. You can be upset. You can be stressed. But don't worry about it. You don't know for sure how it's going to happen. Let's go back to the other podcast. Is it bad news? Maybe. Maybe great news for you. Understanding it as much as you can is the key. But I think there's some reasons why we should embrace it, both for our career or professionally, and then as an individual out there. I mean, I'm about productivity, so the boosts to productivity and efficiency, we can't even comprehend it, but we have some examples. It automates repetitive tasks. It automates them. So now you can focus on, at work you can focus on more strategic stuff or visionary stuff. And you can let AI take over some of the data entry, the data analysis, some of the predictive type stuff. Those bots they can do it and streamline operations. I remember we used to get in conference rooms, and whether it's a spaghetti diagram or whatever you're doing and trying to take each section. And how do we streamline this? How do we organize it? Whatever. Now you just plug it in and boom. In seconds, it's done what would be days of brainstorming and whatever. Now, and AI actually learns from itself. That doesn't scare me. That doesn't scare me at all. But individually, if we looked at it, I mean, just imagine, and we all know Big Brother's listening. Big Brother's listening right now. Big Brother must use AI if he's got time to listen to this. I'm probably going to get shut down. Any problem, I'm actually pro AI, so I won't get shut down. But I started to say any technical difficulties we have here is because I say something that somebody doesn't like. But I use Google all the time. ChatGPT is fantastic. And I'll get into that more. I don't even have Siri turned on. I don't. Everybody around me does, so I don't need it. But however, it's still listening. You know that. But if to help manage schedules, to answer questions, to automate personal stuff, budgeting, grocery shopping, all of this stuff, it can just be a pain in the neck. And I've seen people who are really tech savvy. They've got, this is a smart house we bought, so much smarter than we are. But we could tap into that, and I can just say, hey, make it such and such degrees, or turn you can set timers and all this stuff. That is revolutionary to me. But the things that people are doing now with their pantry and their refrigerators, they're making their shopping lists. And when it gets to a certain point, it's automatically going to their store of choice and having it delivered. AI's doing all of that. I'm not there. My goodness, what is life if you don't have to go to the grocery store 2 or 3 times a week and then forget it, maybe go twice in a day? That's normal for me. So I'm not AI resistant. I just haven't plugged into all of it. But there's so many boosts in productivity and efficiency with AI, both at work and at home. And it helps with, another thing, it helps with decision making by giving you data. Professionally, it's over the top. I can imagine going back to some of my past employers having AI. When I had one of my first businesses back in the 80s, I ran the whole thing basically off Lotus 123, a spreadsheet and graph paper. There was no computer really. No, and just the automation. I would probably either be dead or so financially successful I would be too good for you people. No, I wouldn't. I would mess that up. However, the AI and just using it to review so much data so quickly. Even small companies now with AI can operate and make decisions like what used to be a Fortune 500 company. Looking at patterns and trends, things that couldn't be overlooked. I am the worst proofreader. I misspelled. I'm in the 9th grade, Alabama history. Coach Wisney, he was a varsity coach, and it's not that he was extra hard on us, but anything we did wrong was amplified. On an Alabama history class, I made a 99 on it because I misspelled Alabama. I did. I put an extra MA. I was probably writing it out and looking at the next question, but I put Alabama. Oh, he would still bring that up if we saw him today. But see, AI wouldn't let me do that. It looks over stuff. It can proofread, but also it can forecast. It can look at it, and you can check a business plan for risk. All of this, and it does it like that. And then you think, as far as decision making and insights, personally, your personal finances, you want to track your health. You're on your phone or on a Apple Watch. It's tracking. If you want it to, it can track everything from, my goodness, heart rate to blood sugar to steps to whatever. I got a new iPhone not too long ago, and it reminded me, hey, Dave, you've been sitting still for a while. I'm like, shut up. Leave me alone. It can help you with that stuff. Different kind of planning. If you want it, it can suggest things. From book lists to whatever. I mean, we were here the other day. We're looking at starting to do some hikes in the Vegas area. Well, of course, once I search something, now I'm getting all sorts of stuff. I'm getting all sorts of suggested hikes and personal testimonies and hiking shoes and gear. Look at this. I got a backpack to take on a hike that I haven't even found where I'm going to hike yet. It looked cool, and so I got it. Now I got to probably buy some hiking shoes and AI. Yeah, it's annoying, but also some productivity stuff. Plus, it helps customize things for you, the customer. Whether it's, in business, your computer interactions, that type of thing, instant support. You need quick answers. You want to find something out. You're in a meeting and you need to find something out. You need to translate a language. You're having a hard time understanding something. Marketing ideas. You can, as a small business, you can tailor things. You can give examples and say, hey, I'd like this, but, in a different color and less backlit. Boom. How about this? Here's 3 examples of that. You used to have to go to someone and have them draw that up and get back to you days later. Now, boom. And then individually, with the whole personalization, I can tell you this. I watch a lot of documentaries and a lot of comedy. I love live comedy and live music. Netflix knows this now. And my suggestions are so much better than yours are. If it was my wife, it would be all crime drama, wives killing husbands with substances that can't be traced, and boom, there you go. I leave for a week and I come back and my algorithm sucks now because that's what she's been watching. Have you seen that? What's it called? Deep Fried Homicide. Oh, my wife she's stuck on that. But anyway, AI helps do all of that. So you spend less time searching through all of that stuff you don't care about. It's all about you. And also, you think it's coming up with everything and it's a cheat code, but really it's encouraging innovation. And if you want job opportunities, absolutely. AI can help you do that by not making you sift through all that doesn't matter. That's the efficiency of it. I mean, it's driving industry to new career paths. A lot of people talk about the ethics of AI. AI learns from you. That's why you are always necessary. But it allows companies to look at all sorts of solutions. You look at healthcare, engineering. I mean, you think that's exact, or even creative design. You come up with a crazy design for a building, it will help engineering with all of the code and all that they go through. And it will help them design that, maybe with ideas that humans are too limited from their life experience to come up with a way to do it. Hey, everything is at its disposal. And so, there's just so much creativity out there. And I think AI sparks creativity in people. They help you dream. They help you see. It helps you see what's you're capable of. I love it. Entrepreneurship and AI, that is a dangerous combo for any competitors, I'll tell you that. And then let's get to another thing a lot of people don't think about with AI. It actually helps with work-life balance. And work-life balance, I know that's an old term. I still use it just out of habit. I was using it in a talk the other day, and I actually, got called down on, well, we don't really say that. We like to talk about physical and mental health more, and blah, we don't want to judge you by that because at different times, just stop. I'll call it work-life balance. But at work, AI helps that by automating some of these tedious tasks. stuff you hate to do now, the worst part of your job, AI can do it in seconds for you, not to you. Don't be threatened by that. And it lets you focus on the important stuff, the human stuff, the meaningful stuff. So it's support. I mean, I wrote the paper. I don't want to have to proofread it. It will tell me. You can even autocorrect, even in speech patterns. It can autocorrect it with a Southern accent and make it sound more intelligent. So see, that's helpful. So I don't want to have to proofread my work, please. And then at home, it's going to help you manage stress, help with your mental health, because it can give you, based on who you are, suggest nutritional plans or work, exercise plans, and really let you know how to have a healthier, more balanced life at home by taking away a lot of the stress. It's almost like, and I say it so many times, other people say it, not only copying me, but mocking me. It's like, I don't want to have any labor pains. Just hand me the baby. I don't want to know how to build a clock. Just tell me what time it is. That's the good side of AI, and that relieves a ton of stress, both professionally and personally. I will tell you this, the more you use it and the more you get used to it, the harder it is to do without it. Now, technology in general, I have noticed that. It's, once I stop doing something, I have no sense of direction anymore. I'll plug in an address, and that phone can lead me. Well, now it's not even the phone. You Bluetooth it into the car, and boom, it comes up on the screen, and I will follow that road into the Pacific Ocean if it doesn't tell me to turn. I'm sorry, that's just the way it is. And so you got a 60-year-old man that's doing that. What's next? And I don't even use all the technology. Anybody that knows me will tell you, no, he doesn't. My kids come over and please come fix everything. Can you reset my clocks? I don't even do it. I don't have to have a clock. All I got to do is touch my phone and boom, there it is, fed to me. So some people have some fears though about AI. What are the fears? And they're realistic, honestly. So once we know it and we can talk about it, then we face it better. One is, it's going to take my job. It's going to take my job. And it might. It might. Just depending on what your job is. And we'll talk to those jobs here in a minute. But yeah, that's a real fear. It could as it goes on. Also, AI is pretty much learning. One of the big things against AI is it tells the truth. It tells the truth until it's corrupted. And, you have, and I don't call this corrupt now, but I say it could be. You see people having a press conference, and I'll watch a press conference, after a ball game, and you hear a coach talking, and all of a sudden he says some crazy stuff. I'm thinking, oh, this is AI. There's no way he would say that. Or they have one person talking to another, and then they can fake your face and your mouth and make you say anything they want. Now that, they call them deep fakes. Yeah, that's rough. Now that's misinformation there put out for sure. One of the scary things to corrupt people, though, if you ask AI something, it will tell you exactly what's happened based on all the facts. And so that's where it pushes back a lot. I mean, you want to talk about some controversial events in history, it will come back with the truth. You want statistics, it will give you those statistics, the real statistics, not manipulated or, put on either CNN or Fox or whatever you want. It's going to say what it is. That's why a lot of people are pushing back on AI, because they got something to hide. And that whole bias and discrimination. Well, true AI has no bias. It has no discrimination. It doesn't know black from white. It doesn't know old from young. It doesn't know man from woman. It will tell you, what is this? And it will, boom, punch it out to you. And then a lot of people, the loss of privacy. I tell you, anybody that struggles with this, though, I don't see a way around it. I really, let's be honest. I don't care that they're listening to me. As flawed as I am, I mean, I think I'm fairly normal, maybe bent a little to the crazy side. But I don't really have any secrets. And if I was that worried, man, I would put some sort of blocker in the house to where it would scramble a signal. I wouldn't have an iPhone. I'd probably have one of those. Excuse me, this is a scratch, not a pick, by the way. I wouldn't have an iPhone. I'll probably have one of those Nextel walkie-talkie things. Yeah, I would. I couldn't live if I was in fear of my privacy being invaded, because I don't think we have any. Personally, that doesn't bother me. I guess that's why I'm not scared of AI. But then you talk about, if let's just look at weapons and warfare now. AI-driven weapons are taking over. Fighter pilots right now, you got to be worried, because they've flown some missions. I know this is well known, with AI controlled with no pilots, and they're able to do things and calculations so much faster than people. And drone warfare, a lot of that is AI driven. It is. And so that's changing. Also, people just talk about, I don't like AI because I don't want to have a lack of control. Unintended consequences. If I'm not in control, who knows what's going to happen? And, as AI systems become more, I don't know if they'll ever be completely, some may be autonomous, but they're definitely more complex. I think there's a fear that humans are going to lose control, kind of like 2010. And we don't know what that looks like, and that scares me. All right, I can dig into that a little bit. There's also ethical things. People push back on that, tough ethical decisions. And that can be everything from a self-driving car. I mean, they're everywhere. Delivery vehicles, you're about to have some, they're testing all of this stuff, have been for years, but big rigs. But eventually, they're driving cross country at some point. Planes. Planes and drones, that's the same thing, but passenger planes, how about that? It takes out that emotion or human error part of that. Well, okay, but all right, there's some moral dilemmas there, because humans can make choices based on emotion and things that could cloud judgment, but also could lead to maybe morally, shouldn't we be making those choices? So I get that. And then I tell you, I feel this one. The more you depend, I talked about it, the more you depend on AI, your skill erosion. Guilty. Honestly, I wasn't that skilled to begin with, but you depend on, problem solving, decision making, creativity. Once you give that up and turn it over to AI, can you just flip a switch and turn that back on? I don't know. Sometimes maybe, some people maybe, but I can see it happening in my own experience. And then AI, you hear this, and I talked to it earlier. It's becoming so human-like. If you want to, it can respond in a certain voice, in a certain way. I'm telling you, the whole sex industry is going crazy over this. And I'm not going to talk a lot about this. You can only imagine where it's going with AI and robotics and all of that. Lord help me. But also with virtual reality. There are people who put what's that thing called on the visor? They come home and zone out. Man, they're in another world. It can blur that line between reality and, a lot of times the fantasy world's so much better. And that's where you get into some challenges, in the ethical concerns and, your rights, your own identity. A lot of time and all of that's recorded. Everything is being recorded. And so, I don't know. There's there's a lot to think about, but I think the one thing that may, even if you're all in on AI, the one thing that may concern you is the speed at which it's happening. Oh, the speed, because it is, I mean, what we know is nothing compared to what they have next, and what they have next is nothing compared to what's right behind it. So there are some things that I don't think we need to worry about AI taking over. It's not going to develop a free will, I don't believe. That is, as it exists today. Eventually it might. Now, I have heard, some programming in AI, but it's all programmed by people. I mean, it teaches itself and it does other things as well. However, it doesn't have, at this point, that self-awareness with emotion. There's no emotion in AI. I mean, they can program certain things, but they can't program emotions and thought like humans have. It's just not there yet. Could it be? Yeah, maybe, but I'm not worried about that. I don't think it's going to, in the next few years, take over the world. I'm not a conspiracy theorist guy. It's not going to take over in its current state or anytime soon. I'm not worried about that at all. It's developed gradually. There are safeguards. And those skeptics say, oh, no, it's teaching itself and it's going to run away, and anybody that tries to change the program, it's going to shut it down. Well, that's science fiction, and it may be the case someday, but right now there are too many safeguards in the way because the creators would be the victims at that point, and there are safeguards in place. It's not going to replace all human jobs. It can't. And I'll more about this in a minute, but it can automate tasks. And history has shown us that new technologies create new jobs and new job opportunities. And a lot of jobs that are obsolete, that's what's holding people doing those jobs back from doing so much more. But we're always going to need human intuition and that moral side, creativity. Yeah, I know AI is creative. Yeah, but it's based on what we've told it. It doesn't have an imagination. It just is not. It's not limited by what's possible because it can throw whatever. You tell it what to do and it will do it. I've said, my buddy Greg used to make up things on the fly about, show an Irishman holding this in one hand and that in the other, running down the road with a Viking helmet on, and boom, there it is. Here's 3 different ones, But there's no emotional intelligence that AI can replicate that's equal to human. It's just the whole empathy thing. You can't teach it empathy. You can program characteristics, but it's not true empathy. Also, people are worried that AI is going to destroy the human race and live on its own. I think that's definitely science fiction. It's a sci-fi movie. It's a bunch of sci-fi movies, as a matter of fact. But to do that, you would think that it would have to be programmed that way. And yeah, there's some bad actors out there that might do it, but it does not. AI does not develop a bad attitude or a malevolence on its own. It follows programming and objectives. It has no desire. So that's why I feel good about that. And this isn't coming from me. This is talking to people about this. And aren't you worried about this? And I hear a lot of conspiracy theorists, and the smart people debunk that because those theories are based on worst case scenario, and emotion. And a lot of them think, ooh, wouldn't it be cool? Wouldn't it be cool for us to scare the crap out of everybody? Yeah. AI won't read your mind. It will not read your mind. It will predict your behavior. Look at my Amazon cart. But it can't read thoughts or emotions. It can look at patterns, and it knows your speech and behaviors, but it can't read your mind. You have to give it something. You have to give it something that indicates mood, something that indicates happy or sad, or your search. Dave's looking at buying this. Okay, let's show him a bunch more. Well, it's because they think Dave wants that. It's not, let's trick Dave. Some of that's out there, but it's not going to read my mind. And it's not going to, I mentioned the sex industry. It's not going to make human relationships obsolete. Now, I've heard some stories. There are people who were married and been married for years and years that have never met each other. It's all online. There are people having psychological sex online. They've never met each other. And that's not, trust me, that's not that unusual. AI just enhances that a bit, but it's not going to replace human relationships. No. You can use AI for companionship. You can use it for all sorts of stuff. But that's been going on for a long time. It's just introducing technology into it. There are people, a lot of people, I don't know I don't know all the numbers and the stats. Let's just say it's a lot of people who build their AI companion and interact with it constantly on a screen here. We're not talking about sex robots. Yet. That's separate. That's on my night version of Talking with Dave. Just kidding. I'll do it during the day. But it's not going to make human relationships obsolete. Think about it. You got a lonely person that's introverted, that's got some challenges, they can't go outside. Who are they hurting? It actually can help. It can enhance a person's willingness to share, and it may give us insight. So it's not bad. It's not all bad. But it also can't solve your problems. It can give you answers. It can give you the data. It can even give context, and it can give you. It could make a mistake with data, but it's based on what it already has. It is a computer. That's what it boils down to, and it can give you just an obvious choice. If you ask it, which one's better for me, it can say, hey, based on these things, this would be it. But it's not going to solve all your problems for you. No, it's not magic. And it needs humans to develop it. It needs scientists. It needs users and data collection and programming. It's not going to get to the point to where it can operate without human input. AI, it's going to, it's not going to take over and start producing killer robots that's going to take us all out. As cool as a movie as that would be, I can think of several people who could be in it on both sides. That's not bloody likely. I mean, come on. Automation, chatbots, analytics. It's not going to build Terminator-style robots. It's not going to happen. And that's me. That's my promise to you. And it's not going to fall in love with you. It's not. It can mimic emotions like that, but it doesn't feel anything. It doesn't have emotions or desires or personal choices and experiences. It's not going to do that. Now, people can emotionally attach themselves to it. It's not reciprocal. I was told to use the word reciprocal several times today, so there you go. Twice. All right? But there are jobs it's going to replace. Get ready. If you're in one of these jobs, you need to be preparing. Data entry. Let me tell you something. You can enter data as quickly and as accurately as AI. If you're doing that, you need to find something else. Telemarketers. A lot of those are chatbots now. You don't even know you're not talking to a person. They can handle that. Draw data. You hang up on one of those, it will call. The next one is quicker than you can possibly do it. They've got the script. They can do the accent. They can do whatever they want quicker than you can. So they're not upset when I hang up on them. They don't have that emotion. They don't have to recover before they make the next call. If you're a cashier, I'm sorry. I know some great wonderful people. I worked in the grocery store for a while, and then I go to grocery stores almost every day. And I don't like going to the self checkout. Hey, it's happening. Although I check out several times a day on my phone. It's coming. It's going to get to the point where you don't have that. You still got them like the Amazon Go markets. A lot of the airports now, you go in and get it and just leave, and it hits your card. Nobody's checking you in and out. Fast food restaurants, you can place your order and check out without ever talking to anybody. Yeah, that's annoying too. I went to Panera Bread the other day, and they had those in front. I go to the counter because I like to tell them my order. And my order is, just so you know, I get one of those cinnamon crunch bagels, sliced and toasted, with the honey walnut cream cheese. I also like an Asiago cheese with butter, sliced and toasted, no cream cheese, all right, and a medium coffee. But I want to tell them that because I don't want to, and I'll tell them, can you toast a little extra toasty? I want it to melt the butter, okay? I don't want a raw bagel. And then when they bring it to me, I thank them. Thank you. Oh, this is great. And I go sit down and I eat it. I don't like all this button pushing and then boom, something buzzes and I go up there and it's just sitting there. I like a little human interaction. So I'm not the norm, and I may not get what I want for very long. Fast food, it's going to end up being all AI driven. It may even get to the point to when you walk in, it recognizes you and boom, your order's there unless you want to change it. Assembly line stuff, that's been replaced with AI a lot. I can imagine, the factory workers working on assembly. You look at the robotics now, and it's not just the huge companies. A lot of small, even machine shops, anything manual dexterity, picking this up here and putting it over here, putting something in a rack, or, even palletizing. I was in a plant not long ago, and the whole thing was automated, even to the loading it on the truck. And eventually that truck driver is going to be unnecessary. But warehouse workers, robots and automatic lifts, and the things in the floor. The robotics at some of these aerospace plants I've been in, it's just unbelievable. I was walking through one day, and I had my badge on, and they told me to stand in front of that robot, and it was coming, and I was like, all right, I hope it doesn't kill me. But it said, excuse me, Dave, because it read my badge. It knew who was standing in front of it, and it was being nice. And it could have been. What if I'd have just stayed there? It probably would have said some stuff to. But that's the robotics around safety, getting the work done. You don't have the fewer workers you have, the fewer workman's comp claims you have. Just think about it. But it's coming. Warehouse workers. Think about in the health field, radiologists. Think about that. Medical imaging. It can take it, it can read it, and it can spot things that the human error would not even be involved. CT scan, the high tech stuff. They don't need a human can make a mistake, but you don't need human radiologists. And I'm sorry, you don't. Just in routine diagnostics, no, you're not going to need that. And X-ray technology, give me a break. That used to be big dollars. People go to school to do that stuff. Now, it's a program. Legal assistants, paralegals. It can search, scan, and find case law or different examples. Zip. And it doesn't forget. Customer support. Oh, I think most of this is already going to, if I have yelled representative so many times, and AI is going to get better, thankfully, because expletive representative many times. My neighbors know when I'm dealing with an automated attendant, but AI is going to get better, and it's improving more and more, and it's going to replace customer support in many areas. And then, I mentioned truck drivers earlier. If you're in those, a repetitious thing that you do or analytics in some way, your job could be at risk, and I understand why you don't like AI. I get it. But there's also some jobs that AI is never going to replace. Let's just talk like if you have a therapist, like a mental health type stuff. Now, they've got chatbots for therapy too. Trust me, they do. But it doesn't replace the emotional side of that, to be able to talk to somebody and that connection. And it doesn't have emotional intelligence like we talked about, but the ability to understand the human experience and to share like experiences, like-minded people, and that empathy. People will always need a person to talk to. And also creative arts, your writers, musicians, painters, in the arts. Now, I know what you're going to say. There are people who have, AI will write you a song. AI will write you a song. It will paint you a picture. It will write poetry for you. Give me a haiku about a redneck who, it would do it. But wouldn't have to think. Zip. Done. That's not creativity, though. It doesn't have any emotional depth there. And you think about the songs you like. Now, if AI writes a song and it's a hit, well, that's the listener's problem. But it doesn't have that emotional depth. And you'll be able to tell the difference. Can it fake it? Absolutely. To someone, a painter, it wants to paint a beautiful picture. I can appreciate that. However, something about talking to the person who painted that and what they were thinking when they did it, and the emotion that's involved in that, or the pain that's felt in a song. AI can't create that on the same level. So you're good. I'm telling you, the skilled trades. We talked about this is college smart. Here's another reason why having a trade. There will always be electricians, plumbers, mechanics, handymen, all of that. Absolutely. They could, AI can problem solve and tell you what's wrong with it. They can tell you why the water in the back shower gets cold quicker than the water in the front shower. I'm in the front shower and my wife's in the back shower, so that's not high on my list of priorities right now. It will tell you what's wrong. It can't fix it for you. So you need the people in the trades. To me, teachers and professors, I get in trouble on this one. I used to speak a lot at schools and colleges, but it can't replace the human connection. Your favorite teacher, why were they your favorite? Why? Okay, that's the nuances. Material, yeah. Taking a test, yeah. But that connection with them, whether it's a mentor, I think back at Bud Smith was one of my favorites. He put some human interaction into the material. Miss Graves in high school, she was rough, but she made me want to do more. Coach Mills, he was fantastic. Though that interaction, that won't be replaced. The material, yeah, if it's just about regurgitating and whatever and passing a test, AI's fine. It can't replace the experience, though. And caregivers, I've got my dad and my mom both have encountered that, but I also know a lot of people who, they could have someone come by or AI could suggest things or even have soothing music or read to them or do what. Something about the human touch is necessary. And speaking of that, paramedics, firefighters, officers. Now, those are people who can use AI to be better and more informed and more trained and efficiency. And it can do the analysis quicker, but you got to have them. You got to have hands-on people for that. And don't tell me. I mean, there will come a time where you'll have, and it may even be out there now, a robot go in and put out a fire, analyzing it, can actually do that, and won't have to send in, put somebody in harm's way. However, nothing can replace that person going in and reacting and actually having compassion and moral judgment and the physical action of a paramedic or a firefighter or a police officer. AI is not going to be able to replace that. And then, you need, I've even heard, I think Rogan even talked about having eventually an AI president. I don't know. I think that's a little far-fetched in my mind. He's smarter than me, though. But let's just talk about business, a CEO. You've got to have someone with a vision and risk management ideas and interpersonal skills, be able to make complex decisions. And you put two different people in that situation, they can both be wildly successful, but in different ways. That's that nuance of a person. Whereas AI, it would just analyze and go. Do it quicker. But you don't. You also have to have the joy of the journey. And running a company involves a lot of intuition, emotion. You have to channel your emotion correctly, but also to inspire people. AI is going to struggle a lot of times with inspiration. Yeah. And so much like some of these others, you're still going to need skilled surgeons. To do. I know a lot of them do it with robotics. A lot of them do it, via across the country with robotics. But you still have that skilled surgeon, because not only do you have the physical recuperation, you've also got that emotional recuperation. And, a good bedside manner involves a lot, adapting during a surgery. I've ran into this before, and here's what I did. AI can take every surgery ever known to man. However, that judgment of a skilled surgeon, that's still going to have a lot to do with the outcome. And then, any negotiators, diplomats or negotiators, that's important, because it's high stakes a lot of time. You're talking about people's lives or the course of a population. You've got to be able to persuade. You've got to be able to think quickly on your feet. You got to have a deep understanding of not only the people, but maybe their culture or other things that are involved, and respond to what they're saying, where a robot's not going to do this. AI can analyze it, but it can't replace that human intuition needed for negotiating or diplomacy. So that's why I'm not saying you need to go out and be a doctor or a plumber or what. I'm just saying there's certain things. I almost call it AI will never overcome HI. And that HI will be human interaction in some things. So what do you do? What do we do, Dave? So I think there's some things you can do to reduce your stress and anxiety if you have it around AI. First thing is educate yourself. You're involved in it to some degree, I guarantee you, but you can look at it. You can look online. You can use AI to educate yourself about AI. But there's all kinds of books and articles. I wouldn't dig into conspiracy theories. Because there are those too. But AI, follow what's real versus hyped concerns. Because there's just as many out there on why it's your friend, not your foe. But focus on your skills, your human skills. This is good for you anyway. AI can't replicate human creativity or emotional intelligence, leadership. Nah. It can fake it, but it can't do it the same as a human, or problem solving. That's going to help you stay relevant. Critical thinking, interpersonal skills, things that are big on communication, trust, relationships, human touch. AI has never patted me on the back or, put its hand saying, it's going to be all right. Never done that. And of course, creativity. So look at those human-centric skills and develop those. And then think of it as a tool. I'm going to embrace it rather than resisting it. Automating repetitive tasks. Oh, please. How can I use it to make the crappy parts of what I do at home or work or at play? My goodness, AI can analyze a golf swing. It's still not going to hit the ball for you, but it can show you some hints as to what to do better. And if you embrace it, then it's not so scary. It's not so scary. How am I going to use it rather than how am I going to be a victim of it? And that's when you need to set some boundaries, really. I mean, constant exposure to it, whether it's in the news, and social media and automation, that increases your stress because it's overwhelming because you're not capable of coping that way. So limit that screen time. Do a lot of offline hobbies. Find them. Go for a hike like I'm going to do with my new backpack. And just take time to just take deep breath and appreciate what you got and trust in something to where it's not going to be overwhelmed. So stay away from it sometimes. But then, ethical AI and human oversight, that's your friend. So, whether you want to get involved in politics or anything like that, but encourage people who are promoting ethical AI. The big thing is, the more you know it, the less frightened you are of it. So use it as a tool. I'm going to use it. I'm always looking for ways. I don't like doing stuff I don't like doing. Let's let AI do that if possible. But I ain't scared. I ain't scared. So hopefully some of this helps. I know a lot of you were hitting, I'm worried about AI taking my job. Well, there's things we can do to insulate ourselves and learn new skills. So we'll always need people. You'll always need Dave. I'm telling you. So speaking of that, thanks so much for joining. I appreciate it more than you know. Hit me up at david@otalks.com or dave@otalks.com. Just go to otalks.com. It'll show you whatever you need to know. I don't sell stuff, but you can buy it there. And then hopefully I will be seeing you in different formats and maybe in person soon. You never know. You never know. Thanks for hanging in there. Thanks for hanging on. And most of all, thanks for O-Talking with Dave and Giddyup.